3. We're taking on Vincent, and he's got a team of Zapdos, Politoed, Togedemaru, Mamoswine, Magearna, and Barraskewda. He also had Sableye on the bench. He had Miltank, like the big cow, really annoying Mon. And then he has Sableye, which could Will-O-Wisp. So I'm happy he didn't bring those three, but he's still got a pretty threatening team. Also, he likes to bring some really funky sets, and he's brought Togedemaru, so I'm kind of scared. Like, what is it? And for us, we've brought a Toxic Protect, Plasma Fist, and Close Combat Zeraora. It's adamant because we really don't need Jolly, and then it's got leftovers. The reason is because I want to be able to switch this thing in on rocks. I want to protect, heal up, but also the Toxic is just to wear down Zapdos, predict a switch and all. And then Close Combat Plasma Fist hits his team really hard. Also, you see he's got Rain, and the thing is that we can kind of stall out Rain through Protect. Not really, but it helps. So overall, I think this is the best Zero set. Then we have Spadef Cryogonal with Defog. It's supposed to be a Defogger, and also switches into Zapdos really well if it's an offensive Zapdos. But another niche that it has is that if Magearna's not modest and it has Flash Cannon, then Cryogonal, or it doesn't have Draining Kiss, right? Then Cryogonal actually 1v1s Magearna, which is, yeah, it's that specially bulky. Its special defense that's like 135, and it's got like a 90 HP. I think 95 HP stat or something like that. Then our only check to Barraskewda's Milotic, and yeah, we brought Flame Orb Milotic. It's the only way we don't get two-shot by Barraskewda. It has Flip Turn for momentum, and then just the standard, I think, Scald, Recover, and Toxic. Then we have Modest Max Special Attack Kyurem, and he also had Volcarona on his team, and I did the calcs. If we run Modest Kyurem with no attack investment, we have Rock Slide, it still knocks out most Volcarona. So I felt like that was a safe bet against it. And then it has Modest Max Special Attack. I actually have Ice Beam on it instead of Freeze Dry. The reason is because if he runs Max Spadef Sableye, I two-shot it with Ice Beam, and I thought that was really important over Freeze Dry. And then the last one was just Earth Power, right? Because we want to hit Magearna. Then, instead of bringing Mamoswine, we actually brought Tyrantrum to this match. So Tyrantrum can switch into Zapdos a decent amount of time, and overall, it can actually deal a ton of damage if we position it properly. And it's just a standard Dragon Dance set, but I really don't expect to be clicking Dragon Dance. And then it has Yache Berry, so for Ice Shard on his Mamoswine. And the other moves are Close Combat and Earthquake. This is because we really don't want to be clicking Head Smash, but unless we have to. And with Close Combat and Earthquake, Close Combat allows me to hit Mamoswine, and then Earthquake allows me to hit Magearna. And then for Zapdos, we want to click Head Smash, right? But most of the time, Zapdos' dual Sab isn't really hitting Tyrantrum that hard. Like, it has to have Weather Ball in range to actually hit Tyrantrum. So I felt like it was okay to click Head Smash into it. And then last is my favorite Pokemon, Victini. And I didn't know what Victini said to bring, but now I was looking at it, I was like, Victini on paper isn't the best into this matchup, like it's a rain matchup, right? But I was like, if I run Specs with Trick, I can do something with it, right? And I don't have it's not a physical set because I feel like Zapdos could be physically defensive, and also he could bring a physically defensive Miltank which walls it, which I really expect a physically defensive Miltank, because it walls Zera, and it also walls Victini. And Zera, like, I'm not going to bring Life Orb Zera into this game. So yeah. And Victini, its moveset is Thunder, Blue Flare, Focus Blast, and Trick. So it's really the trump card here, right? Like, it can still miss his attacks. Victory Star gives me 10% extra accuracy, but like, still. And Focus Blast is just to hit the Miltank. Blue Flare hits really hard into everything, and then Thunder for the Politoed. I felt like that was important. Also, hitting Thunder and Rain, it gives me something, right? And also, Victini is a soft check to Magearna. So in this game, I'm looking at it, I need Cryogonal to stop the Zapdos Politoed, and I need the Milotic to stop the Mamoswine and Barraskewda. And depending on what kind of Magearna set it is, Cryogonal can stop it, or we might have to use Victini as a pivot into it, right? We can come in and then we can trick and say it goes into Politoed, because I feel like if we bring Victini in on Magearna, he's most of the time gonna go Politoed on Zapdos, and I'd really want to get heavy duty boots from Zapdos, or I want to trick the Damp Rock off Politoed, because he has to have Damp Rock, like that. It's the only item that makes sense. And Togedemaru, I have no idea what it is. Like, what kind of set would he bring, right? But I know that Zeraora should be able to switch into Togedemaru all the time, unless he has Toxic, which I don't expect Vincent to bring Toxic, so, but he could, like Toxic, Spiky Shield, Zing Zap, Iron Head. Actually, that makes decent sense, so let's see what he does. So I lead Victini here because I feel like it was decent into everything, and Victini's a one mon that if it goes down, I don't really care. So okay, let's close music. So he leads Mamoswine. So immediately I'm like, if he's leading Mamoswine, his goal is to set up Stealth Rocks, and he's probably Focus Sash. But then I was like, what happens if we lose Victini and they get Mamoswine weakened? The thing about weakening Mamoswine is Mamoswine switches in on Cryogonal for free and is able to damage my team. And if Mamoswine is able to overwhelm Milotic, then Barraskewda pretty much cleans my team. So I felt like if I weaken Mamoswine, then Cryogonal has a much easier time playing a defensive role. So I go straight for Focus Blast, 77% accurate. Now normally I don't like going for risky moves, but like now I've realized that it's like we're playing Pokemon for fun. We're really not here. We're just here to have fun, right? Like I don't. If we miss Focus Blast, it's really whatever, right? Like I don't know. I'd rather have Focus Blast than click Blue Flare here and have him be like Assault Vest. So I click Focus Blast and he goes down to Sash and then he goes straight for Earthquake. So here, I don't want him setting up Stealth Rock, so I felt like switching it to Zero is the safest play. Yeah, so he goes for Ice Shard, and this is where leftovers are so useful, right? Because we get some health back. Like, this isn't permanent damage, which is also another reason I leftovers for Ice Shard. And then here, I go for Protect. Wait, I don't know, right? Yeah, I go for Protect. Because I wanted to see what this thing wanted to do. I also want to get extra leftovers recovery. Wait, this was a kind of sketchy play, right? Because Toxic was my main play here, and I don't know. I don't know what he was predicting. Okay, why would you go in Politoed when I have Zapdos? Like, what does Politoed do well against? Oh, maybe he's trying to use Politoed as a pivot to get Rain up so he can use Barraskewda early game. That probably makes sense. But if I Plasma Fist there, and Politoed takes like 80% from it, dude, his plan is kind of over, right, at that point, because Zera just destroys his team if he doesn't have Rain up. Okay. So, I switch out to Kyurem. I don't want to take a Scald at this point. He goes into Magearna, so if I went for Plasma Fister, I would have done that. That had a chance of 2 shots. So I go into Cryogonal, it's my initial switch, right? And he doubles in Togedemaru, so this is really good for him. And then I go into Zera because I have no idea what he's going to do. He gets a crit. And remember when we put leftovers on Zera? All these leftover recoveries have actually given me, like, leftovers heals 1/16th, right? So I've gone almost a quarter health, 3 turns of leftovers. I'll tell you, that's really good. And then here, he's going into Zapdos, like, that's his initial switch to Zera. So I go for Toxic. It's too obvious. And like even if he stays in an Iron Heads, I can still protect it off. And at this point, I don't know his set, so like but Togedemaru doesn't do really anything to Zera. So I was like, Toxic is really safe. Like he's not gonna stay in an Iron Head, especially because I can leftovers stall it out. Or I can set up with Bulk Up. Because I've brought Bulk Up Zera to a lot of games, so yeah. I go for Toxic here. Do I protect? I'm not sure. I do protect, yeah. Because I want to get a little bit of extra toxic damage. I also want to scout what kind of move he has. And yeah, I get leftovers. This set was really good. And then we go into Cryogonal here. It's the best switch. He goes and doubles into Magearna. At this point, I want to get rid of its air balloon, right? Yeah, so I just freeze dry. And what does he go for? He goes for Shift Gear. So if he's Flash Cannon, but I don't expect Flash Cannon. Yeah, he goes for Fleur Cannon. So I just haze. And I want to see what other moves he had. So I go for Recover here. Pretty safe. And at this point, he can Toxic, right? I don't want this thing being Toxic. But I don't care if Kyurem gets Toxic. So I go into Kyurem. Now here I really wish I had Freeze Dry, but remember, we were prepping for Sableye, so I'm pretty okay with it. Now I just Earth Power. If I get one Earth Power into this thing, then Zera knocks it out with Plasma Fist, so I thought that was really important. And Plasma Fist is really free into his team, but he goes into Zapdos. Honestly, I had a slight feeling that he'd do that, but I was like, there's no point in risking, right? Because if he goes into Zapdos, it really doesn't matter, but if we miss the chance to get an Earth Power off into Politoed, and then it comes down to an endgame where Zera has to click Plasma Fist, I feel like I'd be pretty mad. So yeah, we go straight into Cryogonal. It's the safest play. He goes for Roost. At this point, we just click Freeze Dry. It's pretty free into his team. And again, normally if we didn't go for that Focus Blast turn 1 into Mamoswine, then Mamoswine pretty much gets to come in for free, especially because it's probably thick fat, right? And like Mamoswine gets to damage my team. But now since Mamoswine is gone, we're actually really free to just click Freeze Dry with no worry whatsoever, no matter what comes in. So yeah, we just go for Freeze Dry. It does a ton of damage. He's getting Toxic, so I think we recover. Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't like Zapdos isn't that big of a threat anymore. For sure. Because we also have Tyrantrum, right? And outside of Rain, it just sets up for free. And that's also why, like, I could have gone for Freeze Dry trying to knock out Zapdos, but then I was looking at it. If I get rid of Politoed, right, then Tyrantrum just sets up over Zapdos for free, and we just sweep his team, right? Because he doesn't have Rain up, and we can outspeed Barraskewda at +1, and then we just run through his team. So again, that thought process was really important. So we go for Haze, and at this point, I'm like, what's your last move? Is it Calm Mind? It's probably Calm Mind, so I'm like, yeah, I go for Recover here. Oh no, I go for Haze. Okay. I go for Haze, yeah, just to see if he has Calm Mind, and then I go for that. Now he goes for Fleur Cannon, and I'm like, I want to see if he has Calm Mind, right? Because if he doesn't have Calm Mind, he's stuck at -2 special attack, and then we kind of just beat this one-on-one. So yeah, he goes for Shift Gear again. At this point, I don't care because he also doesn't. Yeah, this thing does nothing. And also, I look at this; it does 8%, right? So if he gets all the way to max Shift Gear, then he's only gonna do like 30% around. So And then here, I go for Freeze Dry again. The reason is because if I get one more Freeze Dry off on Magearna, then Zero Aura knocks it out with Plasma Fist. I thought that was important. And if he switches out to Politoed, then I put it in Zero range as well. So yeah, we Freeze Dry, we get a crit. I apologize, but I don't think it was that important, was it? Let's see. He goes for Toxic again. Yeah, Kyurem again is our Toxic Absorber. And the reason I go Kyurem and not Milotic as a Toxic Absorber is because Kyurem puts on a lot more offensive pressure into his team. And also at this point, I'm like, I don't care like about the amount of health that Politoed has. It's either just knock it out. Earth Power doesn't knock it out anyway. So I was like, you know what? It's safe to click Ice Beam here. And yeah, we catch the Zapdos. So that's really good. And then we lose more damage. At this point, I'm like, I don't need... Actually, oh no, I go Milotic. The reason I go Milotic here is to get the Flame Orb activated. I thought this was a really safe time to do it. Because if he clicks Flip Turn, it doesn't do that much. And yeah, he goes for a Close Calm. He's Life Orb, so yeah, this is really good. We can easily wear this down now. As we just go for Recover. Yep, safest play. And then, what do we do? I think I might just... I go into Zero Aura, right? Safest play. He has U-Turn, so good play. And this is where Protect comes in huge. Protect and Leftovers have actually allowed Zero to be alive. Also, I probably wouldn't have been alive. It's really easy to weaken. So yeah, I give myself props for that set. Yeah, we Protect against Stall Out a Turn of Rain. And at this point, I go... Okay, so I could go into Milotic, but then just goes into Togedemaru and puts me in a Momentum Vortex. So instead of going to Milotic, go into a Pokemon that I don't really need to win this game. But it can still put on pressure, and that's Kyurem. And if he attacks, then I'm in a good position anyway, because Rain is gone and Zera comes in and claims a kill. So he goes into Togedemaru. At this point, if he U-turns, then I get the momentum by letting Kyurem go down. If he doesn't U-turn, I still get the momentum. So I was like, this is fine. And then I go into Zera. I can Plasma Fist for free here. Yeah. And Plasma Fist plus Close Combat also knocks out Togedemaru, so that's good. And here I can stall out another turn of Rain. Also, I can figure out if he's Damp Rock or not. Which he is Damp Rock, which we figured out earlier, right? Through 8 turns of Rain. And this is really good, right? With Leftovers, Zero's actually pretty healthy. So he goes for Flip Turn. I really don't care. I just want to get Life Orb Chip and stall out this Rain. He goes into Togedemaru. At this point, since Rain is about to end, I was like, I can kind of risk Milotic and go for Recover. And by risk, I mean like flinch risk. Yeah. And then here, I go for Flip Turn, right? Yeah, because there's really no drawback. Oh no, Okay, so... I go into Tyrantrum here, as I expect him to either go for Zing Zap or U-turn. So yeah, that's why I go into Tyrantrum. And also, if he goes for Zing Zap, and he stays in and goes for another Zing Zap on Tyrantrum, or he switches out, then I get to figure out if this thing is Scarf or not. Because I have a slight feeling this thing is Scarf. So yeah, we go into Tyrantrum at this point, and any switch that he pulls, other than Barraskewda, Tyrantrum is like, okay. And if we sack Tyrantrum, like, we don't need Tyrantrum to win this game. Like, once Rain is gone, Zera Aura pretty much wins this game anyway. Zera Aura plus Milotic, of course, so yeah. And we also have Cryogonal to sack. Oh yeah, so the plan is that if he goes into Barraskewda, we sack off Cryogonal, because we really don't need Cryogonal to win this game anymore. Because Tyrantrum kills Magearna with Earthquake, and then Zera does a lot with Plasma Fist. I just need a little bit more chips. I was like, this is fine. Yeah. I go for Earthquake here, knocks it out. Yeah, it pretty much knocks out everything. And then he goes into Barraskewda. Was this a misplay? No, because we really don't need either of these mons. a Cryogonal or Tyrantrum. So I was like, this is fine. At this point, I can have momentum with Flip Turn. Oh no, I just Scald. The reason I Scald here is because just in case he close combats, I really wanted to just knock it out and maybe get a burn or something. So yeah, I thought this was safe. And at this point, I go into Zera here. It really doesn't matter, yeah. And then I'm going to close combat, right? Do I close combat? Yeah, close combat. And I had one concern here. If his Barraskewda is Jolly, he actually outspeeds Zeraora. But it makes much more sense for him to run Adamant with enough speed to outspeed Scarf Zeraora. And that's the reason I was trying to make these series of plays. I was trying to force an endgame where Togedemaru's gone and I have Zeraora and Milotic. The reason is because if he's Jolly, he's gonna knock out Zeraora and then Milotic beats Barraskewda. And I get that information going into game 2. But, whatever. We knock out this thing anyways. I should have protected. That was a bad play. And then here I go for protect again. I want leftovers. And at this point I can figure out if Togedemaru's Scarf or not. So this is why I pivot into Milotic. And also to get rid of these defense boosts. And then I go for flip turn. As what happens? He flinches, fine. And then we flip turn. It really doesn't matter at this point. Since he's gone for Iron Head choice, he's definitely just Scarf. He's on Bandit. I did the calcs, and then yeah. I go for Protect again, because I can also PP stall this thing out of Iron Heads. So yeah, now I go for close comp. If he flinches, I can just Protect, go into like a Cryogonal, and then try to heal up here, and then Protect. So yeah, we win game 1 of the finals. We still have to win another one. So yeah, we've also had a perfect season so far in terms of like matches. But yeah, let's see how this second game goes and a potential third game. So, turn off music, dark mode, and I lead with, what do I lead with? I lead with Kyurem here just in case so basically in this game I wanted to use Victini more offensively. So what was the thing? So I wanted to use Kyurem to break the sash, and I felt like Victini was more useful in this game than Kyurem. So I was like, I'm willing to sack Kyurem to break the sash on Mamoswine. As he leads Politoed, probably expecting Victini. I also covered for that. Now I go straight for Earth Power here. The reason is because if I go for one Earth Power, it puts it in Zeraora range. So I was fine with it. He Toxics. Yeah, at this point I actually just Earth Power again. Yeah, it's fine. I could have Ice Beamed here, but I felt like he was staying in. And yeah, at this point, like, he's in Tyrantrum Earthquake range too. Or no, Tyrantrum Close Combat. I go for Ice Beam here because there's really no drawback. Now, like, I don't care. Like, there's no point in Earth Powering there. The reason is because, first of all, he can go into Magearna or Zapdos. And second of all, I've already put him in the range I want to put him in. So yeah. And then here I just go for Roost. Again, the reason is because I could have gone for Ice Beam again, but, like, I want to keep this thing a bit healthy. As I lose 24%, that's fine. I go into Victini here. It's an offensive switch rather than a defensive switch. The reason I go into Victini is because if I go into Cryogonal, I go for Freeze Dry, he can freely bring in Mamoswine and deal damage to me. That's also why I think he preserved Mamoswine this time, because he knew Cryogonal is such a big threat. Now I go into Victini here. He goes for Flare Cannon. I go for a Trick. As I feel like... Actually, what do I go for? No, I just go for Blue Flare straight up, yeah. Okay, yeah, the reason I go for Blue Flare is just in case he stays in expecting a Trick. Specs Magearna is way more threatening than the Magearna he brought. So I was like, yeah, I'll just... And then here I go into Cryogonal. I'm like, I can break the sash with Freeze Dry, so I just go straight for Freeze Dry. As Victini took unnecessary damage, but it's really okay. He goes for Thunder. I just Freeze Dry. It's a lot of damage. Yeah. At this point, do I go for another Freeze Dry? I felt like I recover. Again, keep Cryogonal healthy. As he misses Thunder, outside rain, whatever. And then we get a Freeze. That's good. That's like really big for us. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's Pokemon. At this point, ooh, this was interesting. If I went for Freeze Dry again and he lost Politoed, then this game's pretty much over, because Zeraora might outspeed Barraskewda anyways. Barraskewda's walled by Milotic, and if he doesn't have Rain, then, like, I set up Dragon Dance once, and I just clean his team. Oh no, I need to set up 2 Dragon Dances, yeah, and then I just clean his team, so, yeah. I don't know. 2 Dragon Dances and a little bit of damage on Mamoswine. But, like, still, that's just... I don't know. I go for Thunder here. I'm Spec, so I double into Milotic knowing he's gonna go into Mamoswine because I'm locked into Thunder. Because he knows I'm Specs from the calc on Zapdos. And also probably Mammoth because it is so much. And now I got the Flame Orb off, which is what I really needed in this game. He rocks. As I go for Scald here because Scald is a no drawback play into everything, other than Zapdos. If he went to Zapdos here and he got thawed, but I felt like I didn't feel like he was going into Zapdos. So yeah, I go for Scald, gets so much damage off. This is so good. Now I flip turn because it still knocks it out, and also I avoid taking an extra turn of burn. And now I go straight into Cryogonal. I want a Defog. I don't want these hazards up because I still have a Victini and Sarah. I don't want stuff to get weakened. So yeah. Kyurem has heavy duty boots, so like that doesn't matter, so is this thing, but yeah, okay. And now at this point, I just keep clicking Freeze Dry. So the goal here is to put it in Zeraora range, and also if he goes for one Flare Cannon, I can just like, it's useless. So he goes for that again, I go for Haze. Yeah. At this point, I still don't know his last move. He goes for Shift Gear, it doesn't matter. He goes for Store Power, I go for Freeze Dry again. Yeah, it's pretty no drawback, because at this point, Mamoswine's weakened and it probably dies. It might not, but like, still. And at this point, I actually go for... Do I go for another Freeze Dry? Oh no, I recovered. It should have been Freeze Dry, because I put him in the right range. He goes with Thunderbolt, and now at this point, yeah. We put him in Zeraora range, so that's super good. Like, that's really all I needed. And now I just go for Freeze Dries again. Since we weakened Mamoswine with that Scald, it's really useful. I go into Victini, offensive switch. The reason is because... I feel like if I go into Victini, he's going to pivot into Politoed or Zapdos, and I can trick. At this point, like, yeah, that's the best play. Because I don't think Magearna would ever stay in there. Yeah, and now we get rid of his Damp Rock, and yeah, it's really crucial. Because he can't set up rain for as long anymore. And since through Protect Zeraora, it's really good. We go for Thunder here. Now, we're modest Victini. The reason is because I wanted that extra damage output, and... Also, yeah, we were thinking, does it do 8 turns or does it do 5 turns? Like, we'll figure out. It's 8 turns because it set up rain before the trick. And here, I'm like, he has a 10% chance of thaw, right? I'm like, I can go into Cryogonal, keep it safe, right? But I was like, okay, it's really unlikely that he thaws. And also, the other thing, also Thunder never misses, so that's safe. And I was like, if I go into Cryogonal and he thaws and goes to, like, Thunder, paralyzes, or something like that, right? I felt like... Cryogonal is way more important than Victini, so I was like, if I lose Victini, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's much better than getting paralysis on Cryogonal, so it was fine. I lost Victini here, he thought, it's whatever. Also, another reason is because if Victini goes down, then we get a free switch into Zeraora, and it pretty much claims a kill, which I thought was really important, because I'd much rather lose Victini, trade Victini for something else, and Victini's done so much this game. So yeah, we go into this. I think I go for a Plasma Fist. Yeah, safest play. And now I just go for Close Combat. And he goes in Togedemaru. He's down to Sturdy. And now at this point, I have no idea what he's going to do, right? But I know that Togedemaru gets Endeavor. So I was like, I can scout for this. Yeah. Goes for Endeavor. And at this point, I'm like wondering, like, what do I do with Endeavor, right? I think his plans to Endeavor Milotic down to like Barraskewda run through me. But even that, I'm okay with because I can, like, protect stall a bit through the rain. And, like, trying to predict around close combat, like, and the water move by switching into Kyurem, Tyrantrum, and stuff. But I was like, okay, he's gonna go for Endeavor again, right? Because that's his best play. So I'm like, what Mon do I really not need? Or what Mon? It's not the Mon that I really don't need. So if I go into Kyurem, I'm just gonna die to Toxic, right? So I was like, the only switch I have is Tyrantrum, and Tyrantrum kind of just claims a kill if I bring it in, because he's Scarf Endeavor. So I was like, yeah, I'll go into Tyrantrum. Yeah, brought down to 1. And also, the really interesting thing is I had Tyrantrum the entire season, and it never really put on work when it came onto field. So this is really interesting. Tyrantrum, even in Game 1, it really didn't come onto the field. So it's really nice that Tyrantrum, in the finals, Game 2, after that season being on the entire bench, finally gets to come in clutch, which is awesome, right? Like, I've never used Tyrantrum this entire season. I really haven't used Tyrantrum in OU either, and bringing it into a finals over Mamoswine, it's a gutsy decision, but I think it was the right decision. So let's see. I go for close combat here. I felt like that was the safest play. Yeah, because it really just knocks everything out at this point. Like, even Barraskewda takes too much, and then with Life Orb Recall, it doesn't have that much hits in it. So we go into that. Magearna's gone. Now he goes into Zapdos, right? So if he knocks out if he knocks out Tyrantrum, right, which is what I expect, then Zeraora comes in and pretty much claims another kill. And we pretty much trade Victini and Tyrantrum, two mons that we really don't need to win this game. Like, the mons that are really important are Zeraora, Cryogonal, and Milotic. Cryogonal actually a bit less important now because Magearna's gone and if this thing's gone. So it's mainly just Zeraora and Milotic that are really important, right? So if we can trade Victini and Tyrantrum for two of their mons, I think it's really good. So his play is to, but in case he roosts, right, I'm gonna go for Earthquake. So if he knocks me out, then I go into Zera, pretty much claim a kill. And if he roosts, then we knock this thing out. So I go for Earthquake, safest play. As he goes for Roost, and then we punish that. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So Zapdos is gone, and now Cryogonal is not as important anymore. So yeah, that's good to know, because Politoed's kind of low. I keep this thing, and it really doesn't matter. I want that Life Orb chip. As he goes into Togedemaru, at this point, I go into Kyurem. The reason is because, so if he Endeavors and we knock this thing out, it's really good. And we pretty much claim a kill at this point with Kyurem and Earth Power. I mean, he can go into Politoed, but like that's not that useful. Because we just go for another Earth Power, because he's choice locked. And if he goes for Protect, then we just go for another Earth Power, and like, yeah. So he goes for Iron Head at this point, and my case was, if he goes for Iron Head and flinches me, then we go into Zeraora and claim another kill pretty much for free, because he's choice Scarf, right? We just click Close Combat. So I was like, it's fine. And if he doesn't flinch, then it really doesn't matter. So at this point, it doesn't flinch. It really doesn't matter. Because Zeraora just comes in and claims a kill anyways. So yeah, I sack off Kyurem. At this point, it really doesn't matter. If he goes for Flip Turn, we get Momentum. Yeah. And like, if he didn't Flip Turn, then we still get Momentum. Because, actually, no, we don't. And the problem is, at this point, I don't know if Barraskewda is Jolly. Like, I was doing the calcs. Like, the calcs really don't tell. So I was like, but he Flip Turns into Politoed. At this point, I just go for Plasma Fist. Yeah. And then there's only 3 turns of Rain at this point. I go for Protect. He goes for Liquidation. At this point, it's a free switch into Milotic. I really don't care if he, if he Flip Turns into, at this point, Milotic just wins the game. Or if we get rid of Rain, then Zera wins the game. Assuming he's Adamant, which, like, Jolly doesn't make any sense. I was like, it's okay to go into Milotic, because even if he Flip Turns, he's not doing that much damage, and then Mamoswine just loses to Milotic, and we can just Scald. So at this point, do I just Scald? Or do I recover? I feel like I Scald, right? Is that the best play? No, I recover. Okay. I think I should have Scalded. Yeah, I definitely should have Scalded. The reason is because if we get a Scald off after a close combat, then like he's pretty much done. Actually, oh no. The reason I recover is because just in case he's Jolly, I want to be able to 1v1 this at the end, right? Because Milotic pretty much 1v1s both of these mons, and in case he's Jolly, I think I might actually need to do that, because I'm Adamant Zera, so yeah. I go for a cover again, right? Oh, do I just Scald? I think I just Scald. Yeah, at this point, I just Scald. Does he burn? Nah, doesn't really matter. I just go for a cover. Yeah, even if he crits, I felt like... Okay, so, say he crit, right? Then Barraskewda just dies to a Life Orb recoil, and then Zeraora just beats Mamoswine, so yeah, it's a pretty good endgame. Yeah, at this point we just Scald. He Earthquakes, doesn't do that much. And then, yeah, so we win this season. That's actually back-to-back now. We won the last season, and now we won this season, so that's pretty good. Now, next season's going to be Natdex, and there's a lot of really good players, so it's going to be a lot harder to defend our title, but we'll see what happens. I'm really happy with this final. Like, I think we played really well. Also, the freeze on Zapdos, it kind of backfired, because it made us kind of lose a Victini. And he really didn't have that much fully froze turns. I don't think he had any turns where he was fully frozen. Maybe one, but I don't think it really mattered. So yeah, actually him being frozen allowed him to actually take out Victini. So, yeah. So overall, I'm pretty happy with these games. We played really, really well. And yeah, off to next season. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy my commentary. I think I was a bit more energetic this time. But yeah, bye-bye.